Hello, class. You are welcome to part 2 of our course. In this session, we will be looking at presentation of numerical information. We will start with data classification, move on to data presentation, and then graphical representation of data. Under data classification, data may be classified by the source. So under source, you may either classify your data as primary or secondary data. We have spoken about this already. This is indicating where you are collecting your data from. The second means of classification is by measurement. Under measurement, you may classify data as quantitative or qualitative. The third classification of data is by precision. And under precision, we are talking about classifying data as either discrete or continuous. All the above classifications have been spoken about in our previous sessions. The final is classifying your data by the number of variables. Here is where you may be considering only one variable or a number of variables in your study. So if you are conducting a study where you are taking into consideration the age of the person, the sex of the person, and the level of education. In this particular study, you have 3 variables. That's age, gender, and the level of education. But if you are doing a study that considers just one variable, for example, age, then you're looking at a univariate variable form of study. But in this course, we will not be focusing on the final classification of data. Let us now move on to data presentation. Data may be presented as ungrouped or as grouped. Now, when data is presented as ungrouped, your data is in the raw form as you collected it. So this is a data standing for number of children in a family. So in a particular family, there's 1 child. In another, there are 3 children. In some families, there is no child, and so on. So in this case, you have your raw data here, and this raw data can be put in a table to keep your data organized and make more meaning. So in writing out this data in the form of your table, this column here where we have tally is to help you come out with a frequency. That is, how many families have 0 children? How many families have just a child? And how many families have 5 children? So let's look at an illustration of how to fill in the tally column and the frequency column from an ungrouped data into a frequency table. Let us write a sample from our data. We will not use the entire data set in this illustration. So as a sample from our data, let me write this list down. 1, 1, 3, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. So we shall work with this sum. So in inputting this ungrouped data or this raw data into a frequency table, we have to draw our table with the first column representing the number of children in the family. number of children. And our second column is our tally. Third column, number of families. So we start looking at our table. Ideally, you should arrange your data in ascending or descending order, but I will go ahead and work with it straight away. So we have the least number of children in this table, in this data is 0. And then there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5. Now we start. The first number is 1. So we do a first tally against 1. Then we have 1, and then 3, and then 2, then 0 against 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3. Now this is a fifth count of 3. Instead of writing it against here, I would rather cross out the first 4. All right, and the next one is also 3 again. So when you tally and you reach the fifth count, you cross out the first 4 just to keep your work organized and for easy counting when you are filling in the frequency column. This column is our frequency, sorry. Okay. So we have our frequency. Okay. So from our tally, we see that the number of families that have just 0 children are 1. Number of families with 1 child, we have 1, 2, 3. So there are 3. Number of families with 2 children, we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3. Number of families with 3 children, we have 5 here and then 1. So 6, then 1, and then 2. Okay. So at this point, you have completed your ungrouped frequency table. You can sum your frequencies. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 6 is 13, plus 1, 14, and then 16. So our total frequency is 16. So in this case, we are considering 16 different families. Let us now look at the case of grouped frequency table, okay, where we do not have single data values to work with, but our data points are in groups. So sometimes if you are filling, for example, a questionnaire, you may have they may ask of age. Instead of asking you to give a specific age, they will write an age range. So 20 to 23, 24 to 26, 27 to 29. So when the data is in groups like that, you use a group frequency table to organize your data. And these are some of the components of a group frequency table. So some of these columns or some of these components you may find in a group frequency table, or you may need to introduce into your group frequency table for whatever purpose for which you are putting the table together. So based on the purpose for which you are drawing your table, you will need or may not need any of these columns. So your class interval representing your groupings available in your data, which you almost always show. And here you have your class boundaries. Okay. Now, you have here also less than, that is the lower, less than class mark. It all depends on what you are working with, what kind of diagram or graph you are trying to draw, and what column of the table is needed. Okay, so this is the nature, this is how a grouped frequency table looks like. All right. So this ends the presentation on data classification and then data presentation. We will look at graphical representation of data in our next session.